How's it going, super friends? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Brad, the DC Universe Geek, for those of you who don't know, and today I have the privilege of being able to bring to you the next wave of Funko's DC Primal Age action figures. Lex Luthor, Black Manta, Bizarro, Superman, and Flash. And not only that, but we also have Krypto the Super Dog, or, you know, Superman's pet, or his noble steed, depending on how you look at it. I mean, he is riding it, right? So as you can see, because this is going to be a jam-packed video, let's get right into it. However, just before we get into the rest of the video, I want to take just a moment to thank super friend Chris from the Bronx for sending these to me from Big Bad Toy Store. Thank you. Anyhow, on with the review. So the front of the packaging is the same with all the rest. DC Primal Age logo, the nameplate underneath, and then the back of the packaging for all of these has all the figures that come in the current wave. So in this case, it's Superman, Flash, Luthor, Bizarro, and Manta, along with all the gobbledygook at the bottom, as well as that barcode that some people like to see. Collect them all, which we have. So now let's open them all. One. Oh, he came right out. Two. Come on, Soups. And one more. The Flash. Ironically, he's not the quickest one to get out of his packaging. First we have Superman, who comes quite literally with an S-shield as an accessory. Push him to the back. Next we have the Flash, who comes with a lightning-shaped dagger sword. Put him over here. Next we have Bizarro, Superman's twisted clone, who comes with a backwards S-shield, but the same kind of spiky hand thing as Superman. He's exactly like Superman, just backwards, only with a different head. Next we have Black Manta, who comes with his two fighting daggers, you can see here. Put him right there. And then finally we have Lex Luthor, who comes much like Superman and Bizarro with a spiky fist, only this one clearly is made out of kryptonite, the same as the gem in his chest. And this is all the figures in the wave. Now let's look at them all just a little bit closer. Starting with Soups, looking at the shield up close first. That's really nicely done. I like that a lot. The back even has a little bit of detailing there. You can see some scuffs in the back of the shield, so this is a very cool looking accessory, and the figure itself, the color palette being a light blue, a nice red, and then they have the various gold bits with his bracers here and the spike fist that he's got. It looks pretty much fantastic. They have departed from the classic look here with the whole chest situation here with the band across his chest, and they made the S itself is gold and the inside is red. The cape is made out of a nice soft pliable rubber. The S on the back of his cape looks pretty neat. This is, I mean, if I wanted to imagine what Superman would look like as a He-Man character, I don't have to use my imagination because this is it right here. And the face, it looks pretty good. He looks like someone who played college ball or maybe in the NFL. It's got a very masculine look to it, and you can definitely see that this also has a very Superman-ish look. If you cover up the hair, you can definitely see a He-Man-esque version of Superman there. It would have been kind of nice if there was some kind of a spit curl, but I get why they didn't include one based on the fact that this is a He-Man style figure and not a classic one. So the Superman figure, I definitely like it very, very much. I think it's very cool. Let's snap the S-shield on and take a closer look at the Flash. This is a really cool rendition of Flash, just the same as Superman. The detail work on this figure looks actually pretty good too. They got the sew lines in his suit here. They got that big Flash lightning bolt on his chest attached to this big buckle. And I like what they did here with the mid-area with another lightning bolt and another big buckle there. They got straps on his legs, and they got the two tones of red for his boots compared to what the rest of his suit looks like. The details are one color and the figure is another. They've even gone as far as to incorporate the lightning bolts on his bracers. For Flash's face sculpt and how they chose to tackle the issue of the earwings, this is definitely not an unreasonable attempt to make it look like something that you maybe would expect to see on a 1980s styled He-Man figure. I think that works out really well as well. And the face paint, again, looks pretty darn good. Remember, these are a $9.99 price point in general, so you really are getting what you pay for here. And here's a closer look at the Flash's lightning bolt sword. It looks pretty awesome. I like the fact that you've got the pommel with a lightning bolt in it. Almost looks like Narsil from Lord of the Rings. You can see all the various details in the grip here. The handle you got, you know that's like leather wrapped around there, which is really cool for the hilt. It is a tight fit, but it does fit in his hand. It will fit in his hand just fine. Okay, so next we're going to have a look. Lex Luthor, who is wearing something that is completely and totally reminiscent of his classic Lex Luthor power armor. I would totally imagine that this would also be what a Masters of the Universe style Lex Luthor would look like. The shoulder pauldrons, which move with the arms as you rotate them, are made out of a nice soft rubber. You've got the slightly harder but still bendable soft rubber for his collar here. You've got a kryptonite gem in the front with really cool looking detail work, if you ask me. This is really cool. You got his belt area, the mid area with a soft skirt thing that I don't even know, what would you call that? Maybe that's the He-Man universe's equivalent to a jock? And underneath he's wearing furry underwear just like Superman, only he's wearing his underneath his clothes. Okay, bad joke, sorry. And then he's got plate armor on top of his boots. Very cool, very simplistic, light green on top of a light purple, but a very, very cool looking figure nonetheless. And here is a closer look at that spiky face smashing fist mace. Very, very cool. I like this guy a whole lot. Let's get a close look at his face too. Lex's face looks very classically Lex. I think that Funko did a great job in capturing a classic look for this character in the large He-Man style. Cool. And next we have Bizarro. This is one of the coolest figures in the wave. First off, he comes with another S-shield just like Superman, only his has #1 carved in the front, which is reminiscent of his "Me Bizarro am #1" thing that he wears around his neck there. So that's really cool. I like this a whole lot. And then the figure itself is exactly the same as Superman. He's just completely opposite. So he has the same emblem on his chest, only it's facing the other way. And he's got his mace, fist, spike, head smasher on this hand as opposed to this one, but all the rest, it's the same sculpted detail for the belt, the fuzzy underpants, the boots, the cape is the same. He's got a backwards "Me am Bizarro" S on the back of his cape there, made out of a soft rubber, just the same. So this is a very, very cool looking figure, and I like the color palette for it. The kind of soft light purple on top of the grayish blue with the darker gold and silver mixed in. This is a fantastic little color scheme here. And the major selling point here for this Bizarro figure is the fact that he looks like Michael Jackson Thriller. He does. But honestly, I really like this really He-Man-esque, twisted, scary, creepy take on Bizarro's face with the teeth sticking out and the red eyes, the black around them. This is my favorite face sculpt out of all the figures in this wave, for sure. Let's pop that back on there. And then next, we'll have a look. Black Manta. And this is another fantastic looking figure. I mean, honestly, you know that Funko didn't send these to me. They didn't tell me to say this. I really, really like these. I think that these are one of the coolest ideas I've seen for action figures that are DC based in a long, long time. I think that this just looks absolutely fantastic. For one, he's covered in barnacles. I'm not sure how well they're going to show up because he's black and the barnacles are black and everything is black on this figure basically. But he is in fact covered in barnacles. He's got some details on his cuff there, with the little fins on both of his arms, and he's also got the hoses that attach to his chest and go all the way around to his air tanks for his respirator and his respirator helmet. Very, very, very cool indeed. I really like this figure a lot, and the face sculpt for it, much like the others, also looks absolutely fantastic. This looks like a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea submarine for a helmet. Yeah, I can't get over it enough. These figures, this one included, these are so fantastic. I like these a whole lot. Now, as for the articulation segment, I'm just going to go for it, and I'm going to assume that these aren't going to break. So far, just fiddling with these and looking at them and posing them just a little bit, I can tell you that these are absolutely stronger and tougher than the previous figures that I reviewed. These really honestly don't feel like they're going to snap off anytime soon. They feel so much stronger. So I'm not even the least bit afraid of doing the articulation, so let's just get into it. Basic rotating shoulders, basic rotating head on a peg, 360 tornado waist all the way around, ball jointy groin, and I mean really with legs like this on a ball joint and a groin like that, there really isn't a whole lot that you can do with these guys, but if I'm being completely honest, the He-Man figures that I had when I was a kid, the groins were actually attached by a rubber band, and the rubber band would get old and then they would snap off. Well, if they have fixed the quality control with these figures and the groins aren't just going to snap, then technically these could outlast the Masters of the Universe figures because they don't have a rubber band on the inside to get rotten and then break over time. But yeah, that's it for the articulation, and I think we all already knew what kind of articulation these guys had coming into this, right? I mean, we didn't think they were going to have 30 points of articulation, did we? And then next up we have Krypto, the Super Steed Dog. That's right, I call it a steed dog. We've already been through this. It's because it's a steed and it's a dog. So it's a steed dog. Anyhow, the packaging for this is pretty simple. It's a great big window with DC Primal Age on the left, a really cool looking illustration on the right with his name below him. Top of the box has another logo. Here's what the left looks like and also what the right looks like. Yeah, that's right. They're the same. The back of the box has all the images that you can get in the wave, as well as an image of Krypto the Super Dog. Then let's not forget the little UPC code down there on the bottom. And here's what the bottom of the box looks like. It's boring. And now let's cut it open. Oh, wow. That didn't work as planned. Let's try that again. And now let's cut it. Oh, the scene's done. You wrecked it, Brad. And here is what you get. Wait. Here is what you get. Just gotta snip the snippy line. Nope, there's another one. Snip that one too. Oh, and he just fell out. That was your grand entrance? And here we go. It's Krypto the Super Dog. I like this a lot. It looks very much like the New 52 version of Krypto. He was very wolf looking and a whole lot less just generic white dog looking. Not my favorite version of Krypto, but he certainly works out very well for this style of figure. Absolutely. Up close, here's what the Poochamaku looks like. You got the S shield right there on his collar. Looking at this, you can tell that this actually comes off. It's a removable piece. I mean, it would have to be, otherwise it would be molded to the dog, and that just wouldn't make much sense. Here's a look at Krypto's cape with the nice S shield on the top there. This is sculpted really, really nice. It's made out of a really rubbery, plasticky rubber. It's not super soft, but it's soft enough that you don't feel like it's going to impede the figure at all. And he really does have that battle cat look to him. Let's put Superman on top of his noble steed, Krypto, the Steed Dog. Yeah, that looks pretty fantastic. That looks fan-freaking-tastic. I have to collect everything from this because this is, I know a lot of you think I'm crazy for actually liking this. Like those of you who really don't like these figures, I'm sorry. I mean, well, I'm not sorry. I'm unapologetic. I really like these. These are fantastic. But that was a burp. So I suppose at this point, I'll get into my final thoughts on these figures, which are, I actually feel like these are better than the previous ones that I reviewed. For one, I actually feel like they used a better grade plastic, not only for the inner groin of these figures, because I didn't get any kind of feeling that these were going to have any sort of breakage or snappage, but also just for the arms and legs and the rest of the body in general. After really tugging these guys around during the articulation segment and just fiddling with them as well off camera, I really don't feel like these are going to come apart in my hands, and I actually would consider buying a set of these for my youngest boy to play with without the fear of them just falling to pieces after his first play session. That's a good thing, because we do buy these toys as adult collectors to remind us of what it was when we were kids to be collectors and big fans of these characters, even though they're definitely in a form that never existed when we were kids. There's certainly a throwback to when those of us who are in our 30s and possibly 40s did collect Masters of the Universe figures. I feel like at least this wave of figures could probably stand up to the same kind of rigors that the ones that we had when we were kids could. The details for these figures are absolutely fantastic. The paint app quality, especially remembering that these are $9.99 action figures, the paint quality on these is also very good, as well as the sculpting detail and the design features in these in general. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think that these are one of the most interesting, fantastic DC-esque style figures to come out in a long time. They really are their own thing, and that's all they need to be, because they are a totally new concept, something that no one's done before, and something that clearly resonates with a whole lot of collectors that are my age. They have a target market for these, and I feel like they do a fantastic job of catering to that market with these figures. Anyhow, those are my final thoughts on these figures. They're just my opinions. Take them for what they are, or leave them at the door. It's all the same to me. I know I really like them, but leave it down in the comments below what you think about this wave, having now seen this video in comparison to the last one. Do you like them? Are you willing to give them a chance? Or are you just, nah, more crap? Let me know down in the comment section below. And as always, if you found this video to be interesting or a useful waste of time in any way, shape, or form, then please do me a favor and take the time to leave a like on it. And if you want to see more of my face and hands show up in your inbox, then as always, I invite you to become a super friend and join the DC squad today, and hit that red subscribe button. And if you do, consider doinking the bell so that you get notified of when I put out new videos. And with that, I'll see you next time. Have a DC day, everybody. Take care.